Hey, yo, it's Adrian. What's going on? Welcome in. Hope you're all having a great time. Yeah, so about to get into my, was it week 5 now, quarterback rankings? Yeah, it's getting interesting. I think all the starters played this week. Not Aaron Rodgers. There were a couple injuries though, and we'll get right into it, but actually let's just hop right in. Yeah, I got Zach Wilson back at the bottom of the barrel. I realized he got his first win and he's looking better than he was, but guess what? He's still awful. I still think the Jets should switch quarterbacks. If you're a Jets fan, I'm sorry. I just think Zach Wilson's awful. He had 199 yards and a pick against a bad Broncos defense. He got the win, but I feel like if it was like basically any other quarterback in the league, they would have done better. So he's got the Eagles this coming week, and I think it's going to be a complete and total disaster for Zach Wilson and this Jets offense. I really don't understand what they're doing, and I hope they bring somebody else in very, very soon because they're running out of time. It's week freaking 6. The trade deadline's around the corner. Yeah, they just need to replace him. At 31, Desmond Ritter, I have him hop above Zach Wilson because he actually had a solid showing in this one. I'm still not on the Desmond Ritter train. I still don't think he's a starting quarterback, but he had a good game against a Texans defense that isn't all that talented. Desmond Ritter had 329 yards, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown, and this game was really fun right until the end. Desmond Ritter, fourth quarter comeback, shootout kind of with C.J. Stroud there, and I don't know. He kind of put on a little show there at the end. So maybe this is the start of something new and exciting for Desmond Ritter and Falcons fans. But I still don't have a lot of faith in him. But I got more faith in him than Zach Wilson. They got the Commanders this coming week. Commanders defense has been bad. They do have talent, but they've been bad. So we'll see if Ritter can do anything against them. It'll be interesting to see for sure because if he can get 2 solid games in a row, maybe he can hop up on this list and maybe the Falcons can start stringing some wins together. Be interesting for sure. At number 30, I got Kenny Pickett. He actually dropped 2 spots, but that was because a couple of vets came back that I had their rookie counterparts underneath him. He didn't have a bad game, though. He had 224 yards and a touchdown against a Ravens defense that is pretty solid. So Kenny Pickett really showing some game manager skills, but the big news is that he really found George Pickens in this one. Pickens had a good game, and if Pickett to Pickens can become a connection on an everyday basis, every game basis, then Pickett should start rising in the rankings, and the Steelers will be on their way to the playoffs because they have a really good defense. All they need is Pickett to start figuring it out back there. They have a bye week coming up, which is very needed because Deontay Johnson should be coming back after the bye week, and that'll really help Kenny Pickett and this offense start getting off the ground. Their running game needs to start getting off the ground too. Hopefully, Jalen Warren maybe can help them out because the running game has been trash. Anyway, moving to 29, I got Josh Dobbs. He falls 3 spots in a kind of a rough game compared to his previous starts, but also, like I said, the aforementioned vets moved up. Dobbs didn't do terrible. He didn't do good though. 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Both of those picks were tipped, so you can't blame them entirely on Dobbs. Um, but they're still picks in the stat book, and he had 0 on the board until this game. This was against the Bengals, who have been up and down. Their defense turns it on and like turns it off at the switch at the click of a button. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Dobbs is Dobbs at this point. He's a backup quarterback that is starting games. But like I said last week, he's proven that he can be a solid backup quarterback and that he can start some games. You just don't want him to start this many. Like, honestly, they got the Rams this coming week. Their defense isn't great, but it's not terrible either. They're like a decent defense, so we'll see what Dobbs can do against them. Should be a tough game. But Dobbs has proven he can be a game manager, and he runs. He runs with the ball. He's kind of fun to watch sometimes, honestly. So we'll see. I don't know how much longer he's gonna be here. We still haven't heard much about Kyler Murray coming back, if he comes back at all, and they still have Clayton Thorson, but is Dobbs' team for now until something else happens. So there we are at 28. Daniel Jones keeps moving down my list, and it's really really sad. I love Daniel Jones, but he has been absolutely terrible in this bad offense. Yeah, I don't know. He was terrible in this one. He couldn't get anything going once again. 119 yards and a neck injury. Uh, he's been sacked 28 times now. It's right below Sam Howell for lead league. I think they're on par for like 99 sacks this year, which is basically a record. And his neck injury, he initially said felt like his neck injury from a couple of years ago, where he went on IR and like missed what 5 6 games. He missed like the rest of the season that year. But last I saw, he they don't think the injury is nearly that bad. He's actually questionable to play in this next game. So maybe we'll see Daniel Jones. I think they should just sit him though. If he's hurting and this O line isn't going to do him any favors if he's hurting, I think they should just sit him. Let Tyrod Taylor jump in. Give Tyrod Taylor a start or two. Tyrod Taylor deserves it. He's been in the league for a hot minute. He's a solid backup quarterback. He started for the Bills for a while and I did pretty good. So I think it's Tyrod Taylor time. And Tyrod Taylor is he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, so he could use a couple games on film. We'll see what he can do in a tough Giants offense, but this was against the Dolphins too, where he only had 119 yards. The Dolphins defense is not good, so it's just tough. The Giants can't do anything right now. They got the Bills this coming week. I think that's going to be a disaster. We'll see if they can get like Saquon and Andrew Thomas back, but it's just going to be a disaster. Daniel Jones, if he's starting, it'll be bad. Tyrod Taylor, maybe he can do something. I just want to see Tyrod Taylor at this point. I don't know what else to say really about it. It's rough. Next, I got Bryce Young. He went down a couple spots, but he didn't do terrible. He actually showed a little improvement in this one, which is exciting. Exciting to see for Panthers fans that really need some excitement these days because they've had some rough games. They're 0 and what 0 and 5 now. Not great. But yeah, Bryce Young, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also threw 2 picks. You can kind of see his like. I feel like you can see his mind working as he's like making his progressions. It's just the game's still too fast for him, I think. And that'll come with time. But I really just think they should be playing Andy Dalton right now, the vet. But that's if they wanted to win games. I guess they don't care about winning games. They just want to get Bryce Young some playing time and starts in there. But I don't know. I'm nervous that like if Bryce Young's getting hit too much and if he's throwing too many picks and stuff, they could break him. They could break his mind, you know? It happens to quarterbacks, to rookie quarterbacks especially, all the time in this league. Start them too early, they're not ready, the team's bad, and they just get their confidence smashed. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Bryce Young, but I'm nervous about it. This was against the Lions defense that is pretty good this year. So he was finding lanes against them. Adam Thielen mostly. He's been finding Thielen all over the place, but yeah. Other than that, I don't know. It's really mostly been down for Bryce Young so far. But oh, and they brought in Andy Dalton for like a QB sneak, which makes me feel like they don't trust that Bryce Young and his slim frame can do a QB sneak, which is not good. Hopefully he can put on some weight like in the off season after the year, but I don't know. They got the Dolphins coming up. That's a much less distinguished defense than the Lions. So we'll see if Bryce Young can get stuff going against them. That'll be exciting if he can get stuff going. I want to see that. So we'll see. But yeah, he stays at 27 for now. At 26, I got Justin Fields. He jumps one spot. I know, I get it. Bears fans and Justin Fields fans alike. He's had 2 games now where he's looked pretty freaking good. If he has one more game that's good, I'm going to bump him up further, I promise. He had 282 yards and 4 touchdowns against a bad Commanders team, defense at least, and he looked pretty unstoppable. Yeah, the receiver, DJ Moore looked freaking phenomenal, and yeah, I think they're really just starting to figure it out, which is surprising. I thought they were going to just go downhill from here, to be honest. I had no faith, but they got the Vikings this coming week, which is a struggling defense as well. So if Fields can string together 3 really good games in a row, he's definitely going to be going up in these rankings. He's looked really good, and Bears fans, hey, you might start winning games. It'll be real exciting if you do. At 25, I got Anthony Richardson. He went down a couple spots, unfortunately. He can't. The man can't stay on the field. 98 yards, and then he got injured. The man has to learn how to slide and take less hits. Honestly, he got a AC joint injury, which is the same thing that like Derek Carr had the other week. But this one's worse. It's he's expected to miss around a month. Hopefully not any longer. That's definitely unfortunate. It's going to affect his his growth, but maybe he looked like he was in a lot of pain. Maybe this will really like show him. Maybe it'll teach him like, hey, you're not in college anymore, Anthony. Like these are grown ass men. These are huge dudes that you're going against. Like you can't just be running into them like that. You're running into walls, bro. You're getting 300-pound men dropping on top of you. You got to start sliding. Hopefully he learns after this, but this was against a really good Titans defense that just beat him up. So we're gonna have Gardner Minshew. Minshew did finish the game strong. I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's going to be able to keep the Colts stable, and it's definitely not going to be as exciting as with Anthony Richardson. But Minshew Mania is real. So if he can get this team going, then good for them. Richardson's definitely going to start when he comes back, though. They got the Jags next week. It's definitely going to be Gardner Minshew. We'll see what Minshew can do. It could be a fun game. It could be the Jags taking charge because they looked pretty good last week. But yeah, Richardson, stay healthy, my guy. At 24, I got Jordan Love. I moved him down 5 spots, unfortunately. Like I said last week, I was really high on him to begin the year. He's very talented, fun to watch, but he's just making mistakes out there. He's clearly making like the young quarterback mistakes. But I don't know. He was learning behind Aaron Rodgers for a while. I thought he would have it, but the bad games are starting to stack up now. 182 yards and 3 interceptions against a Raiders defense that isn't supposed to be very good. Granted, Max Crosby? He was in his face like all freaking day though, so that's not good. They've had a few injuries on the O line, so that's definitely affecting the team. Aaron Jones wasn't in, so they do have a bye week. Hopefully, they can get everybody freaking healthy. Bakhtiari's like out for the season at this point, so I guess he won't be there. But hopefully, Elgton Jenkins can be healthy. Aaron Jones, Christian Watkins. Hopefully, these guys can get healthy and they can be ready to go after the bye week, and Jordan Love can get back to slinging it. That's what I hope for, at least. At 23, I got Deshaun Watson. The Browns were on a bye week, so Deshaun Watson was just resting up and healing that shoulder injury that kept him out of the last game. He's still questionable, but he got cleared not last week, but the week before to play. So I think the bye week, I feel like he should be good to go. That's why I got him up here and not DTR. But they 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 got the 49ers this week, so it's a real tough game for Watson to be coming back. We're gonna really find out who Watson is. I bumped the Browns up 7 spots because Watson's coming back, and he is very talented, and he hasn't been terrible this year so far. So, but the 49ers are a tough test. We're gonna really see where Deshaun Watson's skill set is in his comeback from the 2 years off that he had. I don't know what to think, to be honest. I feel like he's probably going to struggle. It's just a really good defense. He's probably going to struggle. Nick Chubb gone. I'm nervous. Nervous for him and Browns fans. But let's move to Sam Howell at 22 overall. Howell just remains up and down all season. It's really strange. I still like Sam Howell a lot. He stays here at 22. Uh, I don't know. He's so talented, which is I don't understand why he was a fifth round pick. He's so talented. 388 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also threw a pick. This was against a Bears defense that isn't very good. He's been like a turnover slash scoring yardage machine. I think he's just a gunslinger out there, honestly. His comeback didn't materialize this time around after a rough start. He's taken 29 sacks now, which leads the league. A lot of those are on Sam Howell because he's holding on to the ball for too long, trying to make moves in the pocket when he shouldn't. I think this probably was the reason that he fell in the draft. He just seems to see pressure when it's not there, or not see pressure when it is there. He's struggling on that front, but he's got the arm, he's got the intangibles, he's pretty accurate with it, and he can run too. He's really just got to learn, I think, and this year hopefully they can stick with him. I really like him, and I think he could materialize as a good starting quarterback. But for now, he stays at 22. They got the Falcons this week. That'll be a good test. Not a great defense, but not a bad one. It'll be a great test, and it should be a good game, and I'm pumped. I'm going to be watching it for sure. At 21, I got my boy Baker Mayfield. They had a bye week, so didn't play. Stays at 21 overall. They got the Lions this coming week, so that should be a fun one. The Lions are a very tough test. We'll really see what the Bucks and Baker are made of. I don't know. I like Baker so far this year with this pretty talented offense. He's making plays, and he's got the Bucks in good position to start moving towards the playoffs. I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see this one too. This was almost my like game of the week in our other channel. So yeah, Baker Mayfield. At 20 overall, I got Mac Jones. He's on his way down. I moved him down 3 spots. He's had 2 terrible, not even bad, but terrible games in a row. 110 yards and 2 picks against the Saints. Saints defense is solid. Yeah, Mac Jones has looked god awful 2 weeks in a row now. Got benched 2 weeks in a row now. I don't even know if he's going to be starting this next week. Belichick still seems to somewhat be going with him, but I think that's more because they don't have a good option behind him. Bailey Zappi's not very talented either, in my opinion. I do think at this point they could switch to Bailey Zappi, though. I think Will Grier is the most talented quarterback in this room, but I don't know if he's a great option either. I would like to see him. But yeah, Mac Jones, he's looked really bad. They got the Raiders this coming week, which should be an easier test, depending on if Max Crosby decides to be a psychopath again. But yeah, Mac Jones could have a bit of a comeback against the Raiders team that's not as talented, but at the same time, I have no faith, really. I don't know. I could see it. I could see Mac Jones coming back. He has his games where he gets confident and starts throwing good balls, but I don't know. He's just looked rough. I think he might be on his way out. Might be on his way out. Yeah, I could see him as maybe a backup, but honestly, with his personality, I feel like he's going to be out of the league in a couple of years if he can't figure it out. We will see. At 19, I got Jimmy G, the Raiders. He had that concussion and didn't play last week, so moving him up 10 spots as he comes back for Aiden O'Connell. He was up and down, 208 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He definitely doesn't look nearly as good as he did in the 49ers, much better, much more talented offense. And right now he leads the league in interceptions with 7, so that's not good. But he also, you can tell, like he's a vet. He makes vet moves. This was against the Packers where he just did better than Jordan Love to get the win. I don't know. He's like not super talented, but he's usually pretty smart with the ball. Leading the league with 7 picks kind of says something against that, I guess. But I just don't trust the offensive play calling at all on this team. That's the main thing that I think keeps Jimmy G down here. They got the Pats this coming week, and what's supposed to be a good defense, but they kind of sucked last week, so we'll see. I feel like Jimmy's probably going to struggle, so that's not ideal. We will see what he can do, though. He's probably sticking around this spot, though, unless something happens. At 18, I got Ryan Tannehill. He moves up 2 spots. That's more because people moved down below him than him actually doing anything. 264 yards and a pick against the Colts. Not much you can say about him. He was peppering D Hop with like all the targets. I feel like Tannehill and the Titans are just done with each other at this point. It doesn't look fun. It doesn't look exciting. I think they got to switch stuff up. Look for him on the trade block. It's coming up soon. I don't know if they'd want to trade him. I think they should, though. I think they might as well just trade him and start moving on to the next phase. Start Will Levis. Start the other guy, Malik Willis, the young guys. Tannehill, I think his time is up with this team, and they got the Ravens this coming week. I think that's going to be a tough one. Titans defense is basically what's keeping them in games at this point. So, got him at 18. At 17, Derek Carr, he bumps up 1 spot. He looked better in this game. He looked like he's actually throwing the ball downfield now because he was a check down machine the week before with his shoulder injury. But in this one, 183 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Pats. Yeah, he just looked better. He hasn't had a great year so far, but it hasn't been bad. He's been like, okay. They got the Texans this week. Should be a good game. I like the Texans right now. The Saints could definitely take it, though. If Derek Carr can just get his guys going and get himself going, Saints should be able to win it. And yeah, Derek Carr, 17. At 16, I got Dak. He moves down a couple spots. Horrible game. Horrible game for Dak. He really showed that he might not be the guy for a long playoff push, honestly, in my opinion. 153 yards, a touchdown. He threw 3 bad picks against a really good 49ers team. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really trust in Dak like I used to. I really feel like his injuries over the past couple years has really affected him. He looks like the kind of guy that just doesn't have a high pain threshold, and being in the NFL, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna be to be a really effective guy. We don't like to say it, but you kind of got to play through injuries sometimes, and Dak doesn't look like the type of guy that's going to be able to do that for this team. In my opinion, they got the Chargers coming up. That should be a much easier defense, at least, than the 49ers, but they also have a really good offense, so it could be a bit of a shootout. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope Dak can get back to it and have a good game because he really needs one right now, especially since they traded for the 49ers old quarterback. But I don't know. I'm nervous about Dak's future at this moment because he hasn't proven much as like a playoff quarterback. Like he's been fine in the regular season for the most part, but big games like this and the playoffs, he just seems to falter. Kirk Cousins gets it way more than Dak, but I think Dak's gonna start getting on it a lot. At 15, I got Russell Wilson. He stays at 15, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns against a good Jets defense, but couldn't do enough. The Broncos defense is not doing him any favors. Sean Payton is looking like a fool right now, which I think is kind of funny because he seems kind of like an asshole. Yeah, Russ hasn't been the problem for the Broncos. I'm kind of coming back around to Russ. Last year he was the laughing stock of the league, but this year he's really trying to pull it together for his team and probably for himself as well. But yeah, they got the Chiefs this coming week. I think he'll be able to move the ball against them, and I don't know. He's probably going to stick around this spot. He's definitely not the Russ of old that was like a perennial all-star Hall of Fame caliber guy, but he's not bad. He's not what he was last year either. So, he's probably going to stick around here. Chiefs should be a fun game. Moving on, we got CJ Stroud. He just keeps moving up. He looks so good as a rookie. He's probably going to be, if he can keep this up, he's probably going to be the rookie of the year. book it, bet on it. I mean, you'll probably win some money. He moves up 2 spots here, 249 yards and a touchdown against a Falcons team. That's not bad. Not great, but not bad. Texans, CJ Stroud's got him humming. He's got this offense really humming. They're missing a lot of talent, so they're not going to be like, they could sneak into the playoffs, but they're not going to be like, well, unless they start like really showing up, they're not going to be knocking on the door for like a playoff push, really. But CJ Stroud looks freaking good. He still has 0 picks in his career. It's now a new record for pass attempts without an interception to start your career. CJ Stroud is just so smart with the ball. He's got the arm, he's got the accuracy, he's got the decision making. He can move around in the pocket. He's not really a runner, but he can run if he needs to. He's just got it all. The Texans look like they got a stud here. And I think he's going to be knocking on, I don't know, the top 10's got some really good quarterbacks, but I think he could be knocking on the door of the top 10. If not by the end of this year, next year I think for sure if they add some more guys for him. He just looks really good. He might be able to hop a couple more people, to like right outside the top 10. I don't think he's going to be able to break into the top 10 this year, but you never know. He looks really good right now, so I wouldn't be super surprised if he does it at some point. Very excited to watch this dude week in and week out. At 13, I got my boy Geno. Yeah, he stays at 13. They had a bye week, so we didn't see him. But yeah, he's like the perennial game manager. We love Geno here. Um, they got the Bengals this coming week. That should be a good game with the Bengals looking like they're coming back. Yeah, Geno, hey, do some good work. They can beat the Bengals. I think we'll see Geno in a playoff game again at the end of the year. Fun stuff. Lamar at 12 overall. He doesn't move up or down here. 236 yards and a pick against a very good Steelers defense, which is why I didn't move him down or up, because he looked pretty solid for the most part until the end of the game when TJ Watt just said, "This is our game. Screw you." Basically, he threw a pick in the end zone, which was not good, and then he got strip sacked, I believe, to end the game. So yeah, tough end of the game, tough loss for Lamar, but he's not bad. He's not bad. I still don't think he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback. He's a starting quarterback for sure. They got the Titans this coming week, another tough defense, but the Ravens should be able to put up enough points to at least possibly win it. It should be a good game. Good defensive game, probably. We'll see what they can do. At 11 overall, we still got Kirk. He's always knocking on the top 10 door. I still don't fully know what to do with this guy. 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he fumbled, so he didn't completely get rid of the turnovers, but he definitely cut down on them because he didn't throw any interceptions in this one. It was against the Chiefs, who, they have a pretty solid defense. Kirk, I believe he's on the trade block, though, now. The Vikings, they dropped to, 1-4 with this one, and Kirk is a free agent, so they might be trying to get what they can get, because I think they're trying to move on. They moved on from Dalvin Cook already in the offseason. So I think this is move on time for Kirk Cousins, unfortunately for him and his family, because they seem to like it there. But, Kirk Cousins is a guy that he seems like he's always going to be a good starting quarterback that gets the stats, gets the yardage, gets the ball to his number one receiver, and can win games when he needs to, but he also is a guy that has perennially been not good when he really, really needs to be. When the team really needs him to show up, he has often just not made the right call, not made the pass, So probably never going to be a Super Bowl quarterback, but always going to be up there in yardage and touchdowns, I would think. Right now, he leads the league in touchdowns with 13, so I don't know. Somebody's going to trade for him. Honestly, like the Jets or the Falcons, if they traded for him, they'd be a playoff team for sure, in my opinion. So we'll see if they do trade him. It'll be exciting for whatever team gets him For Vikings fans, it probably won't be super exciting because that basically means that they're tanking. But, you know, I like Kirk Cousins. We'll see what he can do from here. Top 10, I still got Brock Purdy. He is on the verge of moving up, though. It's just like everyone ahead of him is also doing good, so it's tough to, move people around in the top 10. He had 252 yards and 4 touchdowns against what's supposed to be a really good Cowboys defense, but he tore them apart. He still has 0 picks on the year, 123.1 passer rating, leading the league. He makes 0 mistakes. The man is like Tom Brady reincarnated, honestly. He's undefeated in the regular season with the 49ers so far. He just looks so good. Like, I'm gonna have to start moving him up. I realize he's not like a game crushing, stat destroying quarterback, but he is the perfect game manager. And I think he should be moving up ahead of people if he's gonna keep doing what he's doing. So look for him to possibly move up next week. We'll see if I can. It's just tough for me to like move him ahead of people that aren't doing bad. But they got the Browns this coming week, so another defense that's supposed to be good. We'll see if he can tear them apart too. Him and Kyle Shanahan are masterminds. They're wizards back there. So it should be a fun game to see him against the Browns defense that's going to try their best to make him make a mistake. At 9, I still got Matt Stafford, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns against a good Eagles defense, but it wasn't enough. He took an L. His O-line is still kind of failing him. Cooper Kupp was here, though, his return. Matt Stafford found him early and often. Went for over 100 yards. Him, Kupp, and Puka Nacua, and Tutu Atwell, too. Stafford has weapons. He looks way better than last year, and yeah, I think he's going to be back in the playoffs by the end of the year. They got the Cardinals this coming week, so that should be a fun game to watch the Rams offense humming. I think Stafford's going to have another big game, which is another reason why it's going to be so hard for me to move Brock Purdy up. But Stafford at 9. At 8, I got Jared Goff. He had another really good game. He's just like the perfect Detroit-style quarterback for this team, and I love it. I love that he found a place where he can thrive. 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown against a bad Panthers team, so, grain of salt time, but they got the Bucks this week, and it should be a fun game. This was without Amon-Ra St. Brown, too, by the way, so he found Laporta and Josh Reynolds, some of his other guys. Yeah, Jared Goff leads the league still in 20-plus yard plays with 23, and he's just on an exciting offense right now, and it's so fun to watch, and he looks so confident back there. So I think this game against the Bucks is going to be really good, and I cannot wait to see the Lions and Jared Goff in the playoffs. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I love it. Keeping him at 8. Another candidate for Brock Purdy to move past, but he's doing so good. It's hard. It's tough to move people around in the top 10. Joe Burrow at 7, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick against the Cardinals. He looks like he's back. He looked like he can put pressure on his throwing foot and actually sling the ball. Jamar Chase had a huge game. They finally showed life. Yeah, they might be back. We'll see. They have a much tougher test against the Seahawks this week, so we'll see if he's really back. But they looked really good, so hopefully they're back. Because when the Bengals are good, the NFL is just more fun to watch. At 6 overall, I still got Trevor Lawrence. He had a good one in London. Another good one in London. 315 yards and a touchdown against the Bills, who took some injuries in this one. The Bills' defense has been just taking a beating early on in the season here. But, yeah, the Jags looked like they were back. A lot of teams just showing up this week. Trevor Lawrence got the offense going early, which they've been having trouble with this year. So hopefully this is the game that they're like they figured it out and they're not going to be struggling early anymore. Because if they can get going, they can really pull away in this division that's pretty much all tied up right now. They got the Colts, speaking of their division, this coming week. Gardner Minshew. So this is one that the Jags should be able to win with Trevor Lawrence's skill set and Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley back there. But, don't sleep on the Colts either. It just should be a nice, fun game for Trevor Lawrence in this offense. I'm ready to see him take that next step. At 5 overall, Josh Allen remains 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and a rushing touchdown against the Jags. He made a couple mistakes that probably lost him the game, but overall, he's just a tank. He's a cannon gunslinger. So fun to watch. The Bills love him. And they got the Giants this coming week. So, wow, watch him. Watch Josh Allen. He might go bananas against the Giants. It'll be fun to see. Josh Allen, though, he's leading the league right now with 73.1% completion rate. So, yeah, he's a gunslinger and makes mistakes sometimes, but for the most part, he's finding his targets more than anyone else so far in the league. So, hey, there you go. He's a top 5 talent. He stays there at 4 overall. We still got Jalen Hurts. He looked pretty good in this one. 303 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and the dreaded tush push touchdown, which they're trying to call like the brotherly love, I think. Push now or something like that. Brotherly shove, I think they call it. I guess tush push is becoming taboo. I don't know. But this was against the Rams team. Fun game. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is just on a very talented offense, and he's doing very well with what he has. So he's probably going to stay up here in the top 5. They got the Jets coming up, tough defense, but I think they should be fine. Jalen Hurts should do good still, and probably stay up here in the top 5. At 3, I still got Tua. He had kind of a rough game, honestly, compared. I thought they were going to go absolutely bonkers, which they did do really, really good still. They still scored over 30, but 308 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 kind of bad interceptions. I don't know what he was doing out there. It almost made me want to put Jalen Hurts ahead of him, but he still is leading the league in pass yards with 1,600, over 1,600. So not quite yet. He just looks. I feel like Tua is really talented and usually pretty smart with the ball, but I don't know. I kind of feel like if this was like Joe Burrow on this offense or Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, some of these other guys, maybe not Brock Purdy because he doesn't have the cannon that Tua can have, but I don't know if it was some of those guys, could they be doing better than Tua? Maybe. I don't know. So for now, he stays in the top 3, but if he has another game where he just makes some weird decisions like that, he's probably going to be moving down a little bit. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts are waiting to take that spot. But yeah, they got the Panthers this week, so I assume he's going to be back at throwing 400 yards and 4 touchdowns next week or this week. At 2, I still got Justin Herbert. He had a bye week, healing up that finger. Yeah, stays at 2. They got the Cowboys this week. That's a tough defense. Should be a tough challenge for him. I think he's ready for it, and we'll see. They lost Mike Williams, so that's not fun, but I think they'll be fine. Palmer and Q will probably step up, and it should be a fun one. Should be a fun one. I'm ready to see it. And that one, we of course have Patty Mahomes. 281 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Vikings. They really need a number 1 receiver. Kelsey got hurt in this one with an ankle injury. Hopefully he doesn't miss any time. They got the Broncos this coming week, though, so Mahomes probably ain't going anywhere because that's a team that's been getting wrecked by every quarterback that comes to town. So Mahomes should have a good game. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to unseat Mahomes this year. We'll see. We'll see if it can happen. If Kelsey's hurt, maybe somebody can unseat him. But for now, Mahomes is the guy to beat. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you disagree with anything or you agree with anything or you got anything else to say, really. But until next week, I am working on a college quarterback video actually too that hopefully is going to come out either maybe tomorrow, maybe even today. We'll see if I can get the time to work on it. Maybe today, but hopefully at least before next week. So look out for that. But until next time, peace out, homies.